It's time to review my no-buy or maybe low-buy year of 2023. It's time to review my no-buy year of 2023 and see how much I've spent in December and for the whole year in different categories. Hello, my name's Rachel. I do videos about decluttering, minimalism and my no spend year, and today we are going to be reviewing all of my spend for 2023 as well as December. So we'll start with December and then we'll go to the whole year and see how much I spent in each category. I think it would probably be inaccurate to say it was a no buy year, probably more of a low buy year. I was conscious of spending bar a few months. Most of the year was okay. So let's start with December, which I know was pretty quiet for me because I had a separate budget for gifts, that doesn't count. So I spent some money on clothing and some money on healthcare. So in all, I only spent about £51.64. So very much a low spend month in that kind of respect. I didn't do many other activities because it ended up being so busy with other things happening that I wasn't very well at one point, and yeah, so it just ended up being not a time for going out and doing lots of things. So my Vlogmas that I planned, which was going to be 12 days, I think has only been 5 so far. So I know I've not kept up with that, but various different reasons for that. My spend budget was 100 and obviously I spent 51, so that's quite good that I saved some money there because usually I go over, as we shall review. Food wise, I did go over. There's no beating around the bush here. We have absolutely gone over the budget of, well, it was 350 the budget, but we spent 452. So it's definitely 100 over. And what I could tell there was that I got into the habit of using the vouchers from Tesco, and they were slightly more expensive, like the shop to be able to use the voucher, than I would normally do. So I was bulk buying things. Stuff that I would use, so it's not wasted at all, but it was just, I spent more than I needed to, and I probably put gifts in with some of that spend as well, to be fair, because I bought various different like bottles of wine or things for people. So yeah, I definitely did not stick to budget in that respect. So I have swapped, and I'll go into that in a minute, I swapped to cash stuffing to help me get back on track with my budget and to make sure that I'm not overspending. Petrol wise, I kept a budget. I spent 138. I think my budget's about £40 a week, so 160. Well, it would be 100, no, it would be 200 on a 5 weekend month. But I obviously didn't really do much travelling around over the Christmas weeks and this week, so it has been pretty quiet. So I have only needed to spend a small amount really. If you're enjoying this video so far, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below and press the bell so that you get notifications for future videos that I bring out. Now it's time to review the whole of 2023 and see what it is I need to do to improve for my no-buy year this year, 2024. Because I did slip up. August I think was my slipping point. Well, no, it was my slipping point. Let's do the whole year, because I was going to just do 6 months, because I do 6 months and then 6 months, but I think we could just say what I spent each category for the whole year, and I can roughly tell you whether or not it's beginning of the year or end of the year. Okay, homeware, I spent £375, and that was mostly the second part of the year because I decided to redo the storage and organisation in my kitchen, and then I also did some bits around the house, so that's where that money came from. Gifts, I spent 120, which I feel was much better than the year before. I'll have to dig up my book. I definitely spent a lot more on gifts. I remember that being a really key sticking point in the previous no-buy year. Food and drink, I spent 325, and I think most of that was the beginning of the year. So it's been a bit quieter at the end of the year. I didn't go out quite so much for different events and anything. I think, yeah, I struggled with my fatigue and yeah, off work for a few weeks. So I definitely had a more challenging second half of the year. Activities, I spent £49. I don't think that's fully accurate, but then we do a lot of National Trust visits and they're already paid for. What I probably should have done was included the membership for that. I don't know if I'm going to buy it again this year. It runs out the end of February, so we've definitely got our usage out of it, enough to warrant paying for it. It wasn't too much for me and my son. It's 91, I think, for an adult and a child, so it wasn't too bad, and we did go to quite a few places. Car, I spent £20 on little bits and pieces like bulbs and stuff. I did spend like a whole grand on my car in November, but that was kind of a separate budget because that was more maintenance, and this car budget is more like bits and pieces. Parking, I spent about £32. Clothes, I spent £543. And before you say anything, a lot of that, probably most of that, was for my son. He has grown so much this year. I've had to get him new trainers, new clothes every 3 to 4 months. So it has definitely been expensive, and we had walking shoes to buy, and that was not cheap to get decent quality ones. So we definitely spent a lot more, but it has been used and we've been really sensible with it. If you think about that, £500 is probably getting, that's probably about 4 sets of clothes in that. That's not that bad, and it was only a little bit for me. Beauty wise, I spent £61. That's just replacement on makeup. Books, I spent £26, which is more than I have the previous year. I've got quite a few books now to read. Really need to get reading. Health wise, I spent £32, and pet accessories and things, I spent £15. So in total for the whole year of my spend, I spent £1,603, which was definitely cheaper, I feel, than last year, the year before. Definitely spent a lot more. No, I did in some areas, maybe not all. Maybe I'll get my book out. Okay, so my plan is I'm using a new budget planner this time, so that I can track my savings, track my individual budget for each month, and I can just see what's going on. So I will start tracking my expenses again in here, and I will do the same kind of categories as I've done before, so I will start totting that up. But I'm doing cash stuffing now for my weekly shop, my food shop, and for gifts and entertainment. So some of those are weekly, some of those are monthly. So if I show you, I've just taken the food one out and put it in my purse ready for the food shop. But £50 goes in the food one. I've got £10 in the entertainment. Nothing in clothing because I feel like this month would have been fine. And gifts, I've just got a little bit left. I had £10 in there for this month because I knew I had some birthdays to pay for. So what I do is I take that cash with me to the food shop, and then whatever's left over, I then collect up at the end of each week and the end of each month, and then I put the change into my 100 envelope savings challenge. And this is where you've got the numbers 1 to 100. I'm trying to save £5,000. So that's basically what I started doing. So I'm just putting it in the right number envelope. So £1 is in 1, £2 is in 2, etc. Just thought it would be a nice way of me actually saving and tracking my money. It's like doing a roundup on your bank account, which I have on my accounts as well. So where I'm going to get saving, I'm going to be paying for holidays. I've got 2 holidays booked, so I've got some of that is paid for. I think about half of it is paid for and half of it's still to pay. So I need to pay that off. And I want to make sure that I'm really sticking to budget. So I'm going to be on it this year, and it's going to be a proper low buy year. I'll leave the video link for my rules and my plan and how to be successful on a low buy or no buy year, because I've done it before and has worked really well. I cleared 11 grand of debt and I saved about 7 grand in the same year just by selling things, really counting every single penny and making sure I was thinking about anything that I purchased. I just didn't buy anything at all. It was such a game changer that year. So I'm on it for this year because I want this year to be transformative and I want it to be successful. So I shall be back for more videos, and I shall share each month my successes and my failures, if there are any, hopefully not, with you soon. So I'll be back for more videos soon. Take care, bye.